This is Mr. Hanna. We're going over lesson 1-4, the distributive property. You need to read pages 23 through 26. The distributive property, the rule, in algebra the rules always use letters instead of numbers. The rule is if I have A times the quantity B plus C, I can distribute that A, and it will be the same thing as A times B plus A times C. Notice if you have a minus sign between the B and the C, you're going to have a minus sign between the AB and the AC. Now, if you have problems that have negative numbers, say A was negative and C was a minus sign, remember that a minus times a minus is a plus, so you put a plus sign. I did an example. I've got 2 times the quantity 3 plus 2. You know, if we did order of operations, 3 plus 2 would be 5, and then 2 times 5 would be 10. But using distributive property, we go 2 times 3 plus 2 times 2. We get 6 plus 4. We still get 10. Excuse me. Now, just because most of the time when you see distributive property, you get the number you're multiplying by on the left side of the parentheses. It could be on the right side of the parentheses, and it still works the same way. In this example, I have 5 plus 2, and I'm multiplying that quantity by 3. So I take 3 times 5 plus 3 times 2. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6. Add that together, you get 21, which you knew if 5 plus 2 is 7, 3 times 7 is 21. Usually you don't do distributive property if you're just working with numbers. We usually use it where we have a variable inside because in this example I have 3 times the quantity 5 plus 2x. I cannot add 5 and 2x. I don't know what x is, so I can't add them. But I can simplify by multiplying 3 times 5 and 3 times 2x. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2x is 6x. And that's your answer. You cannot combine 15 with 6x. We'll talk about that in just a second, but the reason you can't is 15 doesn't have a variable, and 6x has x as a variable. One way you can use the distributive properties for mental math. You can use it to multiply big numbers easily. If you have 895, it's almost 900. So you could write 7 times 895 as 7 times 900, the quantity 900 minus 5. Notice that 900, you want a non-zero digit, one non-zero digit. So 900 is okay, because if I multiply 7 by the 2 zeros, they don't matter. All I got to worry about is that 7 times 9, which is 63. Then I tack the 2 zeros on, I get 6,300. 7 times 5 is 35, so you go 6,300 minus 35, and you get 6265. That's why they call it mental math, because if you know how to multiply, you can do it in your head. If you don't know how to multiply, you better use a calculator. It can be the other way. You don't have to have subtraction in there. If I have 3 times the 204, I can rewrite that as 3 times the quantity, 200 plus 4. I get 3 times 200, that's 600, and 3 times 4, that's 12. So it's 612. Now, we talked about the variables, the like terms, combining them. Like terms have the same variables to the same power. So 4 and 5 would be like terms. Anytime you have a number by itself, we call that a constant, and all constants are like terms because they don't have a variable. That's the same thing as having the same one. So 2x and 7x are like terms. 3xy, 4xy, like terms. 6x cubed, x cubed, like terms, same variable to the same power. Now, some things that are not like terms, a couple of examples would be like 4 and 5x. 4 doesn't have a variable, 5x does. 7x and 3y, they don't have the same variable. 5x squared and 2x, they do have x for a variable, but one of them has x squared and the other one doesn't. So we can't combine them. Anytime you're simplifying expressions, you combine like terms. Now, sometimes you may have to do distributive property first. You may have to multiply through to get rid of the parentheses. But 12x plus 3x is 15x. You do not combine things that are not like terms. So if I had 6y plus 7 plus 5y, 6y and 5y are like terms. I can combine those. 6 plus 5 is 11y. It's just like $6 plus $5. Anytime you're trying to combine variables, think of it in terms of money. If you slap a dollar sign on there, you can think of it. So 11y plus 7. I can't do anything with the 7. It has to stay there. Now this next example you got to pay attention to, because you're going to have several like that. If I have 3x plus 4x plus x, it's not 3 plus 4 is 8. If you do not see a number in front of the variable, we call that a coefficient. If you don't see a coefficient, then it is automatically assumed to be 1, because you have 1x there. 3x plus 4x is 7x. 7x plus 1x is 8x. You may remember in middle school you might have used algebra tiles to represent those. Or you can do it with dollars. Slap $3 out there, slap $4 out there, slap another dollar out there, add them all up, you have $8. Your homework is pages 27 and 28, 2 through 50. Good luck. Have a good weekend. See you Monday.